niggas that's never coming home. Just say they love my music, don't know none of my songs. I guess poverty changed me.
Hey thieves, what's going on? It's your girl Miss Lovely Lee, and I am back with another album review. So while I was in South Africa studying abroad, Dave East decided to get cute and drop another mixtape, P2, aka Paranoia 2. For some of you who may not be familiar with who Dave East is, he's a up and coming, I don't even want to say up and coming rapper. I mean, he doesn't have the mainstream success as of yet, but he is starting to get some notoriety and a few nods from, like, you know, the OGs in the hip hop community. And he's a traditional rapper. Like, when you think MC, old school New York hip hop, you think about Dave East and the likes of other people, especially in this day and age where it's like a new sound of the quote unquote mumble rap. So I really like Dave East. He's one of my favorite rappers of this time. And I noticed that lately a lot of people have been saying that his sound and the topics that he chooses to talk about is not really a wide range of variety. Like, it's starting to get boring. And he actually responded to someone who said this on Twitter. And he basically was like, when you're not used to having money and certain things is new to you, that's all you're going to talk about. And I totally get it. But if I'm speaking from an objective point of view, I kind of do agree. He is talking about the same things. Like, Kari Chanel was just a smash. Everyone was like, yo, this shit is dope. I really enjoyed it. And then when he dropped Paranoia 1, I did not dislike the album. But, you know, like, you have those albums and those pieces of work where the minute you hear it, every song is just hit after hit after hit. Like, you just keep going through it. You're not skipping songs. With Paranoia 1, I didn't skip songs, but some of them was like, ooh, I can't wait till this is over, and I hope the next one is better. Like, it just didn't give me what Kari Chanel gave me. And that tends to happen when people are first coming out. Like, it's like they're hungry and they put their all into one thing, but once they make it, sometimes it appears to the fans, and this may not even be the case, but it appears to us that they get lazy and they're not putting the same work ethic in. And I don't think that Dave East was lazy. I feel like he tried a lot of new sounds, like Phone Jumping with Wiz Khalifa, Perfect with Chris Brown, that made it to the radio. I really enjoyed that song. And Maneuver with French Montana. Like, you've seen him trying new sounds, but he's still trying to stay true to himself. And that's why I still love him and respect him, because he just refuses to conform to today's standards of what hip-hop is. And it was cool. So Paranoia 2 dropped. The first song on the album was Talk to Big. I loved it. I loved the beat. I loved the ad-libs. Basically, he's just talking about how he has homies in jail that claim they love his music but never heard it. Some of them will never make it home. He's talking about the streets and the struggle. It was just a dope song. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to go through every song, but I'm going to talk about my favorites. The next song that was on there that was my favorite was the song that he did with Tory Lanez. And I think it's Woke Up to Some Money. And basically it starts with Tory Lanez in the background saying, Doctor, I got a CAT scan today, and they said I got money on my mind. I think it's actually called Money on My Mind. And basically, they're just talking about getting money. That I could see being a mainstream hit. I think that's going to make it to the radio. Tory Lanez is really good at featuring on people's songs or having his own songs and then making it to the radio, because with the auto-tune in his voice, it's just radio friendly. So that was smart of Dave East, and I seen him trying to, like, once again try new sounds. The next song that I liked, which was my favorite song on the whole album, was Corey. Now, Dave East has referred to Corey a lot in his past pieces of work. I don't know if Corey is a real person or if Corey represents a real person in his life, but he always talks about how, like, Corey's like a brother and whatnot. But this time, he's talking about, I think the chorus goes, how can you hate the only dude that was like a brother to you, or something like that. And it's basically a song about how, which a lot of people experience, you know, you come up with certain people and you make it out the hood and people feel like you're supposed to be there to do everything for them. Like, just because you have money, you're supposed to come back and just take care of them. And it's not like you're not going to take care of people who held you down and was with you while you was working to success. But it's like, if I worked this hard to get where I'm at, I could put you on and lead you in the right direction, but you're not about to be eating off my plate. all the time. Like, that's how people go broke. And I always say loyalty has its expiration date. And yeah, you may come up with certain people, but if the mindset is not there, you outgrow people and you just can't help that. So that's basically what the song was about, how they grew apart. Dave East became successful. Corey will call him here and, oh, I seen you on MTV. Oh, yeah, I see your daughter's getting big. Like, you're calling to say little stuff like that. But then when I come back to the hood, I hear that you're talking shit about me. And then at the end, it's basically a recording of a phone call where Corey calls Dave East about 4 times. And Dave East is dubbing his calls. And he's just basically like, don't forget, I was here before all them other rapper niggas. And, you know, the typical jealousy type of thing, hating type of thing. Like, oh, you basically got big and left the hood. So that was my favorite song. I think that was track number 5. My next favorite song would have to be Grateful, which is the last track on the album, featuring Marsha Ambrosius. I was really excited to see her on the lineup because I love her. Late Nights and Early Mornings, which was her first debut album, if I'm not mistaken, her solo debut album after she left Floetry, still is a bop, and her voice is just beautiful. And Davies is just basically talking about how he's grateful to be where he is. You know, he comes from poverty, he was selling drugs, he's been to jail, and despite all of that, in his early 30s, he was still able to make him a name for himself in the hip-hop community. He's very grateful for that because a lot of people that he came up with are either dead or in jail. And that's just the unfortunate reality of growing up in impoverished neighborhoods and being black or Hispanic or any person of color, because you just have a target on your back and being a man at that. So, you know, that was cool. My bonus song it wasn't my favorite song, but I'm pretty sure everyone who listened to Kari Chanel was excited to see it, was I Found Keisha. Now, for those of you who don't know who Keisha is and probably new to Davies, and I'm introducing Davies to you, in Kari Chanel, Dave East had a song called Keisha, and basically Keisha was this fine, brown-skinned mama. You know, she had it popping that he met in Harlem when he went to pick up some sneakers, and they decided to link up later to have sex, and homegirl robbed him. Like, took all his jewelry, his money, and everything. And now, in Paranoia 2, he finally found her and gave that bitch, you know, that word. So yeah, it wasn't my favorite song, but if you're like a Dave East fan, you was excited to see it because it kind of was a story that came full circle. Maybe he'll do another song where he talks about her family members or some dude she running with coming to get him. Just, you know, projecting. But that's just my short review. Overall, Paranoia 2 was way better, in my opinion, than Paranoia 1. I feel like just the different songs and the messages. He had Lloyd Banks on there, and that was a cool song too. I think it was called Violence. And the beat was cool. It was like this Asian type of beat, but like hip hop as well. It was cool. He had another song on there called Annoying featuring T.I., basically talking about like when you meet a girl and she's just getting annoying and whatnot and all clingy. He had a lot of good songs on there, and there's a few songs on there that I could see making it to the radio. So y'all go support. It's on Apple Music. I'm sure it's on Dat Piff and all them other mixtape apps, Spinrilla, Spotify. I'm sure it's out everywhere. Good job, Davies. I approve Paranoia 2. Paranoia 1 was good. Don't get me wrong, but Paranoia 2, I was able to listen straight through and I enjoyed it. So, yeah. Bye, thieves.